Hello and welcome back. Today we are going to sous vide some boneless pork chops. There's one pork chop, and here is the other pork chop. We're going to flavor these two different ways, one with barbecue sauce and one with jalapeno ranch, and see how they turn out. Now to me, sous vide is a set it and forget it way of cooking, even more so than a crock pot. And some crock pots do have a sous vide feature if you don't have the sous vide equipment. Let's move these a little bit closer to the camera so you can see what we're doing. And let's start adding our spices. First, we're going to start out with a little bit of MSG. It enhances the flavor of the pork chops and everything else that'll be in the bag. Just put a small amount on there. We don't need a whole lot. Next, we're going to go in with our sea salt grinder. And we're going to add a little bit of salt. Again, not a whole lot. You can add salt to taste. After that, we're going to go with our black peppercorn grinder. And I like a lot of pepper, so you may not like this much, but you can add as much or as little as you like. Now, next we want to pat all that into our meat. And we're going to flip our meat over, and we're going to do the same thing to the other side. Now, here is where we're going to vary the flavors between the two pork chops. We're going to use some Meat Mitch barbecue womp sauce on one. Now, this barbecue sauce has a really good flavor. I don't want to say it's sweet, but it's not a spicy barbecue sauce. It's actually really good. So we're going to put a little bit on our meat. We're going to use that as a binder, and we're going to put some rub on top of that. So after we put our barbecue sauce on, we're going to rub that all over our pork chop. Let's keep these two separated from each other. Now I'm going to flip this pork chop over, and I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. Now for the other pork chop, we're going to go in with some jalapeno ranch, and we're going to do the same thing that we did with our barbecue sauce. We're going to coat it on both sides, and that's going to act as sort of a binder, even though with sous vide you really don't need a binder. I'm using these sauces more for flavor than a binder. So next we're going to go in with some Meat Church Gospel Rub, and we're going to add that to our barbecued pork chop. I use a liberal amount. You can use as much as you like. I like to get it coated and get it coated well. Now for the jalapeno ranch pork chop, we are going to add some Meat Church garlic and herb rub. This should be pretty good. It should pair pretty good with the jalapeno ranch. So we're going to get that liberally coated. And we want to pat our rub onto both of our pork chops. And I do wash my hands in between. I just kind of cut it out so the video isn't too long. But pat that onto our pork chops. We're going to flip them over, and we're going to do the same thing on the other side. That one actually we're going to add a little bit more barbecue sauce to. Alright, now that our pork chops are spiced and ready to go, we want to get these into some vacuum seal bags, and we want to vacuum seal them up. I'm just using a small bag here because I'm going to put one pork chop in each bag. Cutting board can go to the sink, and we have a clean counter here that we can put our pork chops on. Now I'm going to add a pat of butter to each one of these bags. And in addition to the pat of butter, I'm going to add in about a tablespoon, maybe a little bit less, of some minced garlic to both of them. Now I'm just going to move that around in the bags and try and get it coated well over top of our meat. Doesn't have to be perfect, but once you're ready, now we got to go over to our vacuum sealer and get these vacuum sealed. Now here we are at our vacuum sealer. Let's get both of these bags sealed. This vacuum sealer is meant to work with marinades and moist things within the bags. Okay, so our sous vide bath here is ready. We have our tub filled most of the way up with water, and we have our sous vide heater set at 145 degrees. You could do pork chops at 135, 145, 155. I kind of went middle of the road here. There they are. They're in the water bath. We're going to leave them in there for about an hour or two. The thing with sous vide is you really can't overcook these. So after an hour, they'd probably be done. And after they went in, the temp dropped a little bit, but it'll come back. So our pork chops are ready. They came out of our sous vide, and we're ready to cut them open and see how we did. So when meat comes out of sous vide, it doesn't really look all that great. Although it is fully cooked, and you could eat it like this, and it would taste perfectly fine. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these out to my grill, and I'm going to sear these with a torch to give them that crust and make them look a little bit better. All right, here we go. Okay, our pork chops are seared, and it's now time to slice into them and see how they look. Okay, this one here is looking nice and juicy. If you cook these at 135, you can get a little bit more pink to them. Depends on how you like your pork chops. I think the next time I do these, I'll probably go 135 or so. That one looks nice and juicy. Maybe a little bit on the dry side. Like I said, next time I do this, I think I might go with the 135. But let's dig in for a taste test here and see how it is. Yep. That's a good pork chop. Not too spicy. That's the barbecue one. Let's try the jalapeno ranch one here. See how we did. Yep. That's good. It's got a little bit of a kick to it. The jalapeno ranch came through pretty good. I like it. So, all in all, pretty good pork chops. So I went ahead and sliced these pork chops up, and I paired them with some chicken-flavored Knorr noodles. If you've watched some of my other videos, you would know how much I love these Knorr noodles. The chicken, the beef, and all the other flavors that they offer. I think they're just a quick and easy side dish, and they taste really good. You can have them done in about 10 minutes, and they go with almost any kind of meat. So here we are finishing up our pork chops. And what I did here was I went ahead and I put a little bit of the jalapeno ranch and used it as a dipping sauce. And that is really good. And next to that we have a little bit of the barbecue sauce for the barbecue pork chop. And that is also really good. You don't need to have dipping sauce for these because they do have a lot of flavor, but it just kind of adds to it. So hey, like and subscribe if you like this content, and we'll see you on the next video.